did not do any saying in the mirror.
No, I don't think I did
no
either.
Summoning
no,
at all.
I think we stayed safe. We wanted it to be a blessed set, you know what I'm saying? As much as it could be. I said, okay, how are we gonna pull this off? And what's the plan? You know, what's the plan? And, you know, luckily sat down with Nia, had a conversation with Jordan, and then, you know, we talked about the vision and the things that we wanted to do. Ultimately, we were telling, you know, our retelling of the story, and obviously from the script, I could see that we wanted to do some, important messaging and things like that. And once I heard the vision, I was in. I said, okay, let's give it a go.
Oh, I thought it was exciting. I love the way it was unpacking so many themes that we're dealing with when it comes to Black trauma or art and criticism. I just thought it was really unique and fresh. I love the character of William Burke. I love the idea that he was using puppetry to sort of like really work through a lot of his story. And then as a child who has experienced a lot of trauma, and then how he handles that as an adult. I thought it was very interesting.
Well, the script I read initially is quite different, but it was really exciting, this like through line that was there that we kind of continued to like dig into. But it was really fun. I mean, it was exciting because I love Candyman, I love Jordan Peele, and I read the script and I was like, oh, awesome. Like this is such a great starting point to then like flesh out this thing that we all wanted to create. So it was exciting.
That was also a part of what drew me to working with Nia, just her vision of just for the world to look like the world we're in. You know what I mean? Like it shouldn't be this feeling of, oh my gosh, because you see Black people. But truly that is our experience, my own experience, I can say as well. Yeah. When I see certain films, I'm like, oh my gosh, we're represented here. I am excited by that because we do have important stories to tell. We have very multi-layered dimensional lives that deserve to be shown and represented. So I love that about our film.
Well, I think most horror, I feel like growing up, I felt like horror happened to white people in the woods. I didn't know that it happened to, you know, like, oh, we shouldn't go in there, and then they go in there. But now it's just like to understand that like Black people live with trauma all day long. People of the LGBTQ community, women. So I think there's so many great representations of such interesting characters that are actually experiencing this trauma on the daily.
I never like to say exactly what they should feel or think, but for me, what I take from this film is just how Black trauma, how it manifests and continues to cycle throughout our generations, and where do we break that generational curse? Where does that come in, and the work it takes for a individual or a community, a family to actively work to stop the trauma, like stop it in its place.
I think I want people to take away a great conversation. I don't think it's the kind of movie that you should walk away and just say, oh, let's go to the car. I think you should actually unpack it and talk about it, and talk about, you know, all the things that were served up in it. You know, questions about art, about literature, about gentrification, about that there's not any monolithic experience of Black people, that they're all, you know, they've taken in trauma in a different way. Some people use their trauma to paint it out, to work it out in art. Just to know that I think that this psychological trauma is real. It's not just something you can go into a theater and say, oh, that's interesting, it was scary, the hair stood up in the back of my neck and I walk away. But you can really unpack and see what Black people in particular are dealing with every single day.
I guess for me, it's about kind of thinking more about and looking differently at the way we talk about and create stories around trauma and horror and horrifying things happening, but in particular how we create characters and legends, martyrs out of people who've been brutally murdered in awful ways, usually through racial violence. So yeah, for me, it's always about like think more about this thing as opposed to think this about this thing.
I would say that there's kind of this thing kind of going on in the world. I believe maybe the energy. I think that where people are tired of having to wait and tired of having to settle for freedoms or for the type of lifestyle that they want. There's themes of unwilling martyrs, I think, in this film. And so one of the things that I would like people to begin to discuss after seeing this film, other than everything that they get from, you know, from the horror and from the entertainment, is, you know, that there are real consequences to the historical mistreatment of Black bodies, you know, and this movie asks several questions, but one of them, I believe, is like, what happens when and if the tables begin to turn, and when and if the ways that we have been abused, those scars turn into a form of strength and power and agency. Those are some of the important conversations that hopefully will, you know, circulate after the film comes out.
You know, there's something about shooting actually in the Cabrini Green projects where there was a lot of empty buildings that was a little terrifying, because you do feel the ghosts of like what was there and whose stories were there, what happened here. So that was a little eerie, because we would shoot late nights in the middle of these Cabrini Green projects that were empty. And so you do feel the ghosts, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna use these ghosts to help me tell this story.
I did not do any saying in the mirror.
No, I don't think I did either.
No summoning at all.
I think we stayed safe. We wanted it to be a blessed set, you know what I'm saying? As much as it could be.
In prep, I was in a house with my line producer, and all of a sudden we see the swarm outside, and all of our windows are open as well. And we look and we're like, are those bees? And it was a swarm of bees, like that so big I'd never seen before outside the house. And we're like running and closing all the windows. It was insane.